Belief number 2. If I do this Clovis protocol, we already did this, right? Okay. I will lose trust. Handled. That's belief number 1. That's not true. You're going to gain trust with your kids. If you do this correctly, you will gain trust. Number 2, this is a big one. Don't get sad yet. Different. I don't want my kid to be different. That's huge. Again, before I do these kinds of episodes, I talk to as many parents as I can. And I know this to be true. I talked to my own brother about it. I don't want my kid to be different. What does that mean? I don't want my kid to be different. I don't want him to not eat the same thing as the other kids eat. I don't want him to not believe the same things the other kids believe. I don't want him to be the weird kid with kale chips in his lunchbox. I don't, God forbid, right? I don't want that. So here's what I have to say to you. If you are an overweight parent, you have an overweight kid, and you don't want your kid to be different, newsflash, your kid already is. Your kid is already different. Trust me, ask me how I know. Ask me how I know how different you feel when you're an overweight kid. How different you feel. Because it's tremendous. If you don't want your kid to be different and they're overweight, they already are different. Now, if you're an overweight parent, I want you to think about something. Take a second, think about all the times in your life when you feel intimidated. Think about all the times in your life when you don't feel a whole lot of self-worth. You don't feel good enough. Think about the times you feel afraid. Think about social settings that you don't like to be a part of because you're overweight and you know it. You don't like what you see in the mirror. Think about that if you're overweight. Now, if you have an overweight kid, understand that they are feeling all those same things that you're feeling, but they're feeling it times 50 because they don't know why it's happening. They don't have self-awareness. They don't know why they're feeling these things. Emotions are so difficult. Think about when you're a kid going through puberty. What the hell? What's happening to my body? This is crazy. I don't even understand this, right? They don't have the life experience that you have. They haven't read self-help books. They haven't met a Justin. They haven't listened to Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins, right? They don't know these things. They're just dealing with all these intense emotions. And what are they feeling? What are they feeling, right? Different, what does different equate to, right? Different means alone. That's the fear. We talked about this last week. Alone is at the root of everything. We want to belong to a tribe. We're genetically coded to belong to the tribe and make everybody happy so we can continue to belong to the tribe, right? That's what this is. Different means alone. You don't want your kid to be different. You think it will isolate them, but it won't. This is short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. What I mean by short-term thinking versus long-term thinking is my number one excuse from parents. You're going to love this because if you're someone who's said it to me, you're going to go, uh-oh, that's me, guilty, right? And you've never thought about it like this. I tell people, clear all the junk out of your household, get your kids off sugar, get your kids off carbs, get them off fruit juice, get them off dairy, all that nonsense junk that doesn't belong in their body, get it out of the house, get them off of it, change their habits. They say the same thing every time. But what about Christmas? What about Halloween? What about when we go to a birthday party and my kid's the only one not eating cake and they're going to think he's weird because he's not eating cake? Okay, listen. If you go to 50 birthday parties a year, 50. If you go to 50 birthday parties a year, you still have 315 days that you can feed your kid perfectly. If you feed your kid perfectly for 315 days, you can give him a piece of cake. I'm giving you permission to give him a piece of cake 50 times throughout the year at all these birthday parties you go to because you are a socialite. I don't want to trade places with you at all. I would hate to go to 50 birthday parties a year, right? Think about it. 315 days a year you can feed your kid perfectly. And then you go to Christmas, I don't care. If you're feeding him perfect the rest of the time, let grandma give him apple pie. Let grandma give him Hershey's Kisses or whatever else. And then he's going to feel like crap and go, Mom, why do I feel like this? And you get to go, you feel like that because you ate poison, Junior. That's why. And then they get to understand, they learn. Don't talk to me about Halloween and Christmas and birthdays. Don't talk to me about that. What are you talking about? It's such a tiny little percentage of their life. It's insane. So what you're doing is you're grasping at straws so you don't have to do this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to get rid of the sugar. They're going to hate me. I'm going to clean out the refrigerator and they're going to hate me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. What about Halloween? And I'm sitting here going, you don't know how you just sounded. You know, that's the thing. It's this short-term mentality. So what's the truth here? You're saying, I don't want my kid to be the weird one that doesn't eat cake. That's what you're saying. Out loud, what are you saying here and here? If you look at me and say, I don't want my kid to be the weird one that doesn't eat cake, let's think about here and here. What are you really saying? I don't want other adults to judge me. That's what you're saying. Can we all just be honest about that? We're all afraid of judgment, right? We are very afraid of judgment. All of us. We're genetically programmed to be afraid of judgment because judgment is bad in the tribe of 150 people who live in tents and share the bison that they killed, right? That's literally where we come from, our ancestors, the Paleolithic era. We're supposed to want to be part of the tribe where we want to belong. We don't want to make waves. So you don't want your kid to be the one that doesn't eat cake because you don't want other parents to point out that you're depriving your kid. You're depriving your kid by not giving him cake. Give him cake, dude. Just make sure you don't have cake in your house at home. Then it's something special. Sugar is no longer a special treat when you have sugar every 3 hours for 365 days a year. You're worried about other parents. You're worried about teachers. You're worried about other parents. You're worried about opinions, right? I don't want to send my kid to school with an avocado, a shaker bottle with paleo powder, and macadamia nuts because I don't want some teacher to tell me that I'm giving him, oh, don't you think that's a lot of fat? Don't you think that's a lot of fat for Junior? What are you talking about? This woman doesn't know biochemistry. She's a teacher. Her specialty is not nutrition. It's like doctors. I love teachers. I respect teachers. I love doctors and respect doctors. That's not their expertise. They don't study nutrition. It's like asking a boxer how to throw a leg kick, right? I'm sorry if you're not fighters. That's a term that I use. But it's like asking a boxer how to throw a leg kick when you ask a doctor about nutrition. It's crazy. Don't ask a teacher about nutrition. Don't ask a doctor about nutrition. I'm a dueling piano player. Don't ask me how to be a professional bass player, right? Different things. So remember that. You're not afraid of your kid being different. You're afraid of you being different and being called out on it. You don't want other parents to judge you. You're very, very afraid of judgment. Everybody is. Now think about it. There's a great movie. Watch Captain Fantastic. The whole Clovis team, we were talking about Captain Fantastic. Great movie. Go watch it right now. It's amazing. This dude raises his kids in the woods, teaches them how to hunt and fish and climb and rock climb. They live in a tent, and he teaches them all about American history. They're homeschooled, so they end up way smarter than all the other kids, but then there's these scenes where they end up in civilization at dinner parties with family, and it's super awkward. Hey guys, do I have audio? All right, I have audio, we're back. Okay, so really though, think about it and be honest with yourself. There's a big thing about Clovis, big thing about Clovis. Honesty, humility, right? Be honest with yourself. You're worried about other parents' judgments. Cool. So I'm going to tell you a story about this, right? It's like number one. Trust. We already handled trust. So what's more important? Being a superhero who's never wrong, is always correct, and is never to be questioned, or to be a good role model? To be a good role model, right? Absolutely. That's the correct answer, is to be a role model. Okay? If you don't agree with that, well, we probably couldn't be friends in real life. That'd be real mean to you. But anyway, number two, is it more important to prioritize other people's opinions of your parenting or to prioritize your child's health? Which one's more important? Duh, your child's health, right? So I'm going to tell you a story. I don't know if my mom's in this room. Guys, I'm probably about to get in trouble in family politics. But anyway, so my mom's going to hate that I tell this story, but sorry, Mom, I love you. I love you. Let's talk about judgment. My mom does not handle judgment well, okay? Takes things very, very personally. Very personally. We've talked about it. She would not have a problem with me telling you that she takes things personally. It's true. A lot of moms do. So mom and judgment. When I am your son, you're going to get a boatload of judgment thrown at you. A boatload of judgment. Why? Because when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I was obsessed with Jim Carrey. He's my idol. I had to be the center of attention all the time. Always performing, center of attention. I want to be a professional hockey player. I want to be a stand-up comedian. By the time I was like 13 years old, I had a backyard wrestling league. I built a ring in my backyard, had cameras, filmed it, produced my first TV show, and had a weekly TV show on public access. Kids would come over and we set up benches, so we had a live audience to watch us wrestle. Then we had a TV show every week that we would play, and kids from school would watch it. They knew our names, they knew our entrance music and everything, right? Then, by the time I'm 16, I'm a professional musician. I'm getting paid $150 as a high school kid, $150 an hour to play piano. Then I go to Berkeley, now I'm in my 20s, now I'm on reality TV. I got an album out, I run a YouTube channel, I'm on reality TV, now I'm 31 and I have Clovis. Trust me, my poor parents have had to deal with a lot of judgment. Because I'm a big, big dreamer. I do things big. I don't know how to do anything besides big, right? And people have judgment on that. And family has judgment on that. Family can be the biggest source of judgment. They really, really can. And I've seen it. I'm not bothered by it, but I see my mom get bothered by it. So I'll give you an example. When I was a little kid and I had to be the center of attention. Had to be the center of attention. There were friends over. Mom had friends over. I'm going to run in wearing a freaking dress. I don't care what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do something to, woo, right? I'm going to get center of attention. So my mom's own sister used to always say to her, you know, he's a middle child and he really needs a lot of attention and I think he has issues. Word for word. I think he has issues. So think about that. What is she saying? She's not judging a little kid. She's judging the mom. And she's doing it on purpose. She's doing it to be hurtful. This is what other grown-ups do. A lot of grown-ups are in a lot of pain. They're not happy with decisions that they make and they project that on other people. So that's the thing. She tells my mom, your little guy, he has middle child syndrome and he has issues. My mom's devastated. She lost sleep over that. My mom used to tell me that story 10 years later. Done. You know, and I'd go, yeah, you know what, I did. I had a lot of issues. I didn't tell you about the issues, right? Now here I am. I still like to be the center of attention. I'm a professional entertainer. That's what I've done for the last 15 years, right? But that judgment always crushed my mom. And today, do you think the judgment has stopped? Not even close. When Clovis happened, I start doing these transformations. These same family members are going to my mom and going, how dare he start a nutrition company? What credentials does he have? He's not a doctor. He's going to tell people how to eat? He's not a doctor. One, I don't know how everybody just automatically thinks that doctors are good at nutrition. You can be a doctor in literally anything, right? There are people that graduated from Berkeley College of Music that I went to that are doctors, okay? So let's just talk about that. But really, she would have these things happen. Where does he get off doing this? Where does your son get off doing this? They're not judging me. They're not judging Justin from Clovis. They're judging my poor mom. They're projecting it on my mom. What did you do to raise a son who would make videos trying to help people when he's not a doctor, right? Judgment, 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 judgment. How many of you are afraid of judgment? I'm sure insecurity. Truth, people can be awesome. That's exactly what it is. It's judgment, right? You're all afraid of judgment of other people and your kids are paying the price. So let me walk you through something. I'm afraid my kid is going to be different. I'm afraid my kid is going to be alone. If you have an overweight kid, I'm going to tell you something. You are so worried about the judgment that you'll receive as a parent that you're forgetting that your kid is already being judged every single day by his peers, by the ones that matter to him, by his peers. You're so worried about your peers that your kid's busy getting judged by his. He's getting laughed at, or she, they're getting laughed at. They're getting picked last. They're afraid to run around at recess. They're avoiding activities like swimming. They don't want to take their shirts off. That was my thing. Your kid's getting judged every day while you're arguing with the PTA over whether avocados are a health food. Think about this. Think. That's all you got to do is think. Think about it logically. What are you worried about? Whose needs are you putting first? You or the kid? It sucks. It sucks being a fat kid. It really sucks. That's me. It sucks. You don't think that when I was that age, I looked at that picture and understood that I had roles? Of course I did. You don't think I was getting my belly slapped, getting called doughboy by the older kids that I couldn't beat up yet? You bet your ass I can beat them up now because I have a complex. I'm not kidding. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but it's exactly what, it's the truth. That's how I know. You're worried about this, your kid being different and alone. According to who? According to parents? How dare you give your kid an avocado? You're worried about judgment. You're worried about your kid being a lot of 31-year-olds like me. I couldn't be happier that I'm different. Right? You're not afraid of your kid being judged. You're afraid of you being judged. Let's be honest about that.